and to awaken our world.
You're out of control.
I take control. Whose side are you on?
I take no side.
You're skating the edge.
I am the edge.
What you truly want, only I can give.
You can't give it, can't even buy it, and you just don't get it.
Hey, this is Prince of Queens. I hope you like that intro. It's from a pretty great MTV show from the 90s, back when they still had some good content, which you can watch full episodes of on YouTube. It's called Aeon Flux. So, I'm starting to think that this whole get woke phrase is really just code for people who seriously just don't get it. Like, idiot it. They don't know fuck about shit having to do with politics, effective activism, education, grassroots movements, economics, institutional racism, sexism, feminism, or anything related. They are sold on a lie, and I want them to start to wake up to the fact that the people who are telling them to get woke are usually just blind followers of a flawed ideology that is part of the system. Some of them might even know it, and they are being paid not to talk about it. So let me tell you, if you support the spirit of the Black Lives Matter movement in terms of police reform like I do, but are just now starting to question how positive of a thing it is as a whole, I want to bring you back to the beginning. Many people say that Black Lives Matter is a result of the internet and telephone cameras, but that's not even how it started. It didn't start because some white officer was caught on camera slaying a young black man. No, it started because George Zimmerman killed unarmed Trayvon Martin with no witnesses around at all, claiming the kid assaulted him, and people made up their own minds about what happened. But Zimmerman was neither white nor a cop, and the media still made this gigantic deal out of the case. This doesn't seem a bit odd to you? Next, let's look at the official homepage of Black Lives Matter. First off, we should note that it was 3 women who started this, and let's look at their history. Oh wait, shit, sorry, their herstory, as they put it. So what they are telling us is that they are feminists. They are fourth wave intersectional feminists, and these are the people founding, leading, and largely taking credit for the Black Lives Matter movement. A movement that mostly stands to benefit black men. Mostly straight black men, because they are the ones mostly being killed. Is it not the slightest bit weird to you that it's queer, fourth wave, intersectional career activist feminists who are the immediate poster children for this movement? This movement to end police violence committed against black people, mostly black men, which was started after somebody who wasn't even a police officer killed an unarmed black male, and it's career feminists that are making it? None of this seems manufactured to you? Wake up! I will be the first to say that I think we need police reform in the US, and I also think we need to do various things to help poorer communities, and in particular, a lot can be done for black communities and other communities of color. A big start would be in education and ensuring that schools in poor neighborhoods have enough money devoted to paying teachers a livable wage, funding after-school programs, sex education so we end up with less fatherless children, and healthy lunches. And a lot of the reason that schools are so bad in certain areas is because often, the way that taxes are set up, the public schools are funded by income taxes of the houses that are in the same neighborhood as the schools, instead of the total income taxes of the entire school district. So if you live in a poor neighborhood, you get a shitty school, which should be addressed because these kids aren't even getting a chance. Especially considering many or most black people in the US live in racially zoned neighborhoods that were set up that way during segregation and even after. Add to that, kids can get in legal trouble for just not even showing up to class. I shit you not. So these kids have criminal records because their schools are basically a trap. The school to prison pipeline exists, but most people never talk about how it really works because most of them just don't even get it. Does Francesca Ramsey ever talk about it? Does Kat Black ever talk about it? I know that Alicia Garza and the other head Black Lives Matter activists at least touch on it occasionally, but all I ever see Francesca Ramsey and Kat Black talk about is trivial distractions, like what the slur white-splaining means, or worse, telling black people that they cannot be racist, even when they are totally racist, which encourages these racist black people to be racist, or bigoted, or whatever you want to call it. It encourages people to actively and openly hate white people. And guess what happens once that's happened? white people start openly hating black people, which I have seen plenty of over the last couple of months, and I think it is growing. Are you okay with this? Now, ponder this a moment. I have no doubt that Alicia Garza and the other founders of Black Lives Matter are decent people, but I don't think that they're getting paid a whole bunch. But Francesca Ramsey and Kat Black are making a significant amount of money, and they aren't even real activists. They are entertainers that are promoted by MTV, BuzzFeed, Everyday Feminism, and God knows how many other big internet sites that are out there to entertain people, not to wake them up and educate them. That is not why Kat Black and Francesca Ramsey are telling people to get woke. It's just a catchy little slogan signaling to the supposed in crowd that they know what's going on. But do they? Personally, I think that those two are paid to avoid talking about real problems, and paid well. How do you think Kat Black affords to change her hair so much? Those extensions are not cheap. When somebody spends so much time on trivial drivel with so much of a budget as Ramsey does, while getting so many factual errors wrong, you know something has to be up. Seriously, watch some of the response videos to her by people like Sargon of Akkad, Counter Arguments, and Jeff Holiday. They rip her to shreds. Similarly, Kat Black just answers random writing question and lies through her teeth about all sorts of things if you ever press her on her shit. And I have. I bet if you are a black male and you wrote Kat Black a question for her True Tea series that was something along the lines of, why do you never talk about police violence disproportionately affecting black men as compared to black women, but instead you just talk about feminist issues? She probably wouldn't get back to you. So why do you think that this is happening? Why do you think MTV promotes these two and has a facade of being anti-racist and teaching white privilege 101, but they never get to the real heart of the issues like the school-to-prison pipeline? Why do you think that the news over-reports the police shootings of black people, but does so little to report what is going on in the riots that happen as a result? Why do you think that the people we hear the most talking about racism and being woke are just as much, if not more so, concerned with being feminists, and never talk about how it's black men who are being killed so much, and black men who are being put in prisons and basically becoming slaves? Do you know that Whole Foods is one of the biggest utilizers of prison labor? That's prison labor coming from black men. But are feminists talking about this? I don't hear them. So I say you start asking for yourselves and see what they say. I think you'll find you'll be disappointed in their answers. Do you legitimately believe there might be something bigger going on? That is what I want to ask you. I am not going to tell you what I think because I think a lot of things and I don't want to come off like a conspiracy theorist. And I have faith in you. I think you can find the answers for yourself. They're out there if you look hard enough. And if you find anything good, make sure to leave them in my comments. Have a good night.